Kubor ka Batisi TV. Lawan Rashapi da ka Orange Nissan Lumso po near Fabricate Shillong, ringkat bat ka Victorium, ka Dukan Kitiar Kilan Met, ka Babhatam Hakador ka Babit, Hanong Tumay Old Beat House Shillong.
Menteri Rang Ba Jong Kesorkar Jela Konrad Kongkel Sangma menta kesengi ke Sipotrik unai leber arajar arpuwei. Ulawan ra ya kembang tengka ke besi hajar samspa hanyo folklore tengka nega bentau snem arajar arpuwei arajar arpuar. Kabalong kumbasau point nyo persen nega gross state domestic product ha ke dorbar mang tengka jong ke yeng dorbar tauan. Menteri Rang Ba uliyat ru ba ka jingyo lumpisa kalong khat nyo jar sanspa khandai klor tengka ha ka baya ka khajna balayo lum lamang kumbakhat san hajar arspa lai pu ar klor tengka bat ka jingyo bha kalong arhajar arspa nyo pu nyo klor tengka shushu uliyat ru ba klem da khanye ka pisa ka bashim kelyang ka balong arhajar arspa sa pu nyo klor tengka ka jing penlut pisa kan long hado kat nyo hajar nrius pa lai klor tengka kan ba kapisa bala penlut pan na kabayo lum khajana kalong kat lai hajar khandai spa san pun riu klor tengka bat ka capital expenditure pat kalong lai hajar nrius pa sa pu nyo klor tengka Konrad Sangma ubabat ru ya kapla tengka jong kesorkar jela uliyat ho baka jing penlut pisa kan kot hado kat nriu hajar pras pa lai pu ar klor lai no na kabaseu ya karam kabalong henyo spa henyo puwai klor. Uliyat ho ru baka jing seu ya kasut na kabentau snem arajar ar puwai arajar ar puar kan long shi hajar sa pu henyo klor tengka bat ka jing seu ya ka pension kan kot hado shi hajar lai spa lai klor tengka.
Honorable Speaker, with your permission, I rise to present the budget for the financial year 2021-22. So the year 2020 will be remembered for the COVID-19 pandemic and the unprecedented economic and social disruption that it caused on a global scale. India has managed to deal with the pandemic in a far more effective way than many developed regions of the country. Our fatality rates are on the lower side, and we rolled out a massive vaccination program. I salute and congratulate our Honorable Prime Minister for providing strong leadership during these challenging times. I also salute all the frontline health workers and every citizen of this country for showing courage, compassion, and resilience. So it makes me proud to declare that Meghalaya has been one of the best performing states in terms of COVID management. Amongst Indian states, we always had one of the lowest number of cases. We put in place a number of relief measures to support different sections of society and that were adversely impacted by the pandemic and the lockdowns. Despite the tough financial situation, we spent substantial resources. Sir, hopefully next time when we present this budget and hopefully when we will be in the new building, then I hope this situation will not happen that time, sir. So despite the tough financial situation, we spent substantial resources in protecting health and providing relief. We set up over 3,800 number of additional beds in hospitals and corona care centers, conducted a total of 3.8 lakh tests, set up testing capacities in all the districts of the state in record time, provided relief to over 2 lakh laborers and workers in the unorganized sector, provided provision kits to over 29,000 households, and brought back about 6,000 of our stranded citizens home at government expenditure. Our efforts in managing COVID-19 were appreciated by national and international agencies, including the World Health Organization. I want to compliment all the members for supporting the government by donating 10% of their annual salary to the Chief Minister's Relief Fund and coordinating the relief efforts in their constituencies. I want to especially thank the Honourable Speaker for providing leadership and for organizing 4 coordination meetings that led to collaborative decision-making on critical issues. My gratitude and appreciation also goes to the health workers, other frontline staff like sanitation and police personnel, district administration, our community leaders, including the Dorbar and the Nokmas, the various non-government organizations, the media fraternity, friends from the arts community, and all others who supported the government in dealing with the pandemic. The economic impact of the pandemic has been immense. Indian economy experienced the biggest annual contraction since 1952, and the country's GDP is expected to shrink by about 7.7% in the current financial year. The Union government increased its own spending and allowed the states to go beyond the fiscal deficit target set by the FRBM Act. My government took various measures to increase public spending. The implementation of externally aided projects and centrally sponsored programs was fast-tracked in addition to launching new state-sponsored schemes and projects. I am happy to inform the House that the overall expenditure for the current financial year is expected to touch an all-time high. Several growth-boosting new projects have been launched. Critical road connectivity projects worth 1,315 crores have already been taken up. About 1,950 crores of PMGSY road projects are being constructed. Major water supply schemes at Cherrapunji, Tura, Bakmara are being implemented. Iconic building projects like the State Assembly Building at New Shillong, PA Sangma Integrated Sports Complex at Tura, and the indoor and outdoor stadia at JN Sports Complex in Shillong are underway. Critical projects that have been left abandoned for want of funds by the previous governments have been revived. These include the Nongstoin Water Supply Scheme, the Greater Shillong Water Supply Scheme, and the construction of model schools. The systematic problems in the power sector are being resolved through investments in both the generation and distribution sectors. Comprehensive revamp of the health and education infrastructure has started. This year alone, work on renovation of 208 numbers of schools and 152 numbers of health facilities have been initiated. We recently launched the Chief Minister's Mobilization Support for Producers Program, under which support to the tune of 5,000 is being provided to farming households of the state. An amount of 16 crores is being dispersed under the program. All these development initiatives can only thrive in a situation of overall peace, safety and security. I am pleased to inform you that the law and order situation in the state has been peaceful during the year 2020. Continuing in our efforts at implementing the ILP, a memorandum was submitted to the Union Home Minister during his visit to Shillong for the NEC plenary. We are following up with the Government of India on this very important issue. My government has also taken up effective steps to implement the Meghalaya Residents Safety and Security Act 2016. Facilitation centers have been notified and set up at Umling and Umroi Airport in Riboy district and the Mendipathar railway station in North Karo Hills district. We are committed to ensure that facilitation centers at other important locations on the interstate border are also set up at the earliest. I want to remind this August House that in 2022, we will be celebrating the 75th anniversary of Indian independence and the 50th anniversary of Meghalaya's statehood. A series of programs will be organized in the run-up to the 21st of January 2022. Speaker, sir, this government has a clear vision and program for development. Despite the challenging year, we laid the foundation for the state's economy to grow in the coming years and for Meghalaya to become one of the top 10 states in the country by the end of this decade. In my last budget speech, I presented the vision for the new decade, a decade where the state realizes its full potential through sustainable deployment of its human, environmental, social, and cultural resources, a decade where Meghalaya leads the way in innovation and governance, and a decade where the state emerges as a knowledge economy and caring society. The budget of 21-22 provides the detailed framework and the allocation of resources to achieve the vision. In the first part of my speech, I will focus on state finances and then move to the various sectoral interventions. For the year 2020-21, the amount of tax transfer from the union government has been reduced dramatically, owing to the economic impact of the pandemic. The budget estimates were 5,999 crores, while the revised estimates were 4,207 crores, a shortfall of 1,792 crores. Despite the severe shortfall, the government has prudently managed the state finances and has ensured availability of resources at all critical sectors. The projections for the devolution of taxes for 2021-22 is, however, encouraging. The 15th Finance Commission submitted its final report to the Government of India covering the 5-year award period 2021-26. The Commission has recommended a total amount of 39,012 crores for the state. This includes the share of central taxes of 32,403 crores, the revenue gap grant of 3,137 crores, the grants to autonomous district councils of 711 crores, health grants of 311 crores, and disaster management grant of 403 crores. I would like to place on record my gratitude to Shri Dr. N.K. Singh, Chairman of the Commission, who has been very considerate to the specific challenges faced by the northeastern and hilly states. Meghalaya's share in the divisible pool of taxes has increased from 0.645% in the 14th Finance Commission to 0.767% for the period 2021-26. This increase is a result of the consistent efforts of the government over the last 2 years through engaging with the Finance Commission and presenting the need for increased resources. For 2021-22, the share of central taxes is estimated at 5,105 crores and the revenue gap grant is at 1,279 crores. In addition to the central tax transfer, the state has been taking steps to increase its own tax and non-tax revenue. For the current financial year, the own tax revenue of the state, including GST compensation, is expected to touch 2,213 crores, 11% increase over the financial year 2019-20. The excise revenue for 2020-2021 is expected to touch an all-time high of 350 crores, an increase of 27% over last year. Measures like handing over the collection of taxes under the Meghalaya Passenger and Goods Taxation Tax Act to the Transport Department and introduction of the Meghalaya Settlement of Arrears Act 2020, licensing of manufacturing and sale of homemade wines, allowing of home delivery of liquor, and introduction of e-stamping have helped in increase the tax revenue despite the unfavorable economic situation. The lockdowns and the restrictions on movements have dramatically reduced the non-tax revenue collection. The non-tax revenue collection for this year is expected to be 374 crores, a 29% reduction from last year. The prospects for non-tax revenue collection for the year 2021-22 are, however, optimistic. The NGT committee has approved the auction of 2 lakh metric tons out of the 32 lakh metric tons of extracted coal. I am happy to announce that the e-auction process of extracted coal by Coal India Limited has begun. In the first auction, about 54,000 metric tons of coal from East Jayanti Hills and about 9,000 metric tons from South Garo Hills are put up for e-auction. When fully auctioned, the extracted coal will generate a revenue of about 350 crores. we expect to generate a significant part of this revenue in 2021-22. Given all this, I am confident that the revenue collection of the state would improve significantly in the next financial year. For 2021-22, I have estimated 2,579 crores and 694 crores for tax and non-tax revenue collection, respectively. The increase in tax devolution and the revenue-enhancing measures would help in mobilizing the much-needed resources to meet our development expenditure pegged at 3,300 crores. Sir, I will now move on to the second part of the speech, deliberating on the various priority sectors and programs of the government. Human capital development. A healthy and educated population forms the basis for development of any society. Human capital development has been a strong focus of this government. We also realize that investments in human capital development have to start very early. Accordingly, the government is launching an early childhood education mission to focus on the early development of every child in the age group of 0 to 8 years. Every child in the state will be provided access to high-quality education and care that includes language, cognitive, socio-personal, emotional, creative, and aesthetic appreciation. I am allocating 20 crores for the implementation of the Early Childhood Development Mission in 2021-22. Early childhood growth and education is immediately connected with maternal health. Accordingly, several health-related interventions are being undertaken, including the Mother Program, which was launched to track the health of all the pregnant women and to promote institutional deliveries in the state. Despite COVID, the percentage of institutional deliveries improved in 9 out of the 11 districts. It gives me immense pleasure to inform you that the immunization percentage for the period between April to September in 2022 stood at 92% compared to 76% last year. We are ranked among the top 3 states in terms of immunization coverage. Antenatal registrations have also improved by 10% this year in comparison to the same period of the previous year. With all these interventions, I am optimistic that we will reduce the infant mortality rate and the maternal mortality rates in the coming years. Upgrading the health infrastructure will continue to be a big priority area. Improving the infrastructure of all the 659 health centers, including district hospitals, PHCs, CHCs, and sub-centers, is being taken up under the World Bank-funded Meghalaya Health Systems Strengthening Project with an investment of 370 crores over the next 3 years. I am earmarking an amount of 55 crores for 2021-22. We recently approved an all-encompassing state health policy. The policy aligns with the draft National Health Policy 2009, National Health Policy 2017, and the draft National Public Health Act 2018, while including provisions that have been tailored to the state's unique context. I am allocating 820 crores for the health sector in 2021-22, an increase of 13% over 2020-2021. Sir, education is a top priority and has a bearing on every aspect of life. Ensuring universal access to elementary and secondary education is one of the key priorities of my government. Accordingly, we have initiated various measures to improve the enrollment ratio of children in school. During the year 2019-20, there was an increase in the general enrollment ratio compared to the previous years. Every child spends significant time at school. The infrastructure available at school shapes the child's experience of learning. A recent infrastructure audit of school facilities revealed that the classroom adequacy is only 11% at the elementary level. Further, 41% of elementary schools and 25% of secondary and higher secondary schools need major building repairs. This government has, for the past 3 years, taken steps to improve the situation. In addition to the 208 schools that are already being upgraded, another 500 will be taken up in 2021-22. I am allocating 150 crores for this initiative. In addition to the state resources, we are also leveraging Government of India's programs. Sanctions have been obtained for setting up 40 Eklavya residential model schools in all the blocks of the state at a cost of 960 crores. These schools will transform the secondary education scenario in the state. On higher education, 3 new degree colleges have been sanctioned at Bakmara, Sora, and Williamnagar. I am allocating 980 crores for the education sector in 2021-22, out of which 453 crores is from state resources. Primary sector. Sir, Meghalaya is predominantly agrarian and more than 70% of its population is engaged in the primary sector, consisting of agriculture, fishing, forestry, dairy, and animal husbandry. Despite several initiatives, the production and productivity levels in the state remain low. The difficult terrain, distance from markets, and inadequate availability of timely credit are mostly responsible for this situation. We realize that a comprehensive program for providing support to our farmers and producers is necessary. We also realize that our farmers need to be collectivized into producer groups and farmer-producer organizations so that they can better manage the value chains. With this vision, the government launched a one-of-a-kind producer support program called the Chief Minister's Mobilization Support for Producers to commemorate the Year of the Farmer. Under this program, all producers of the state, at the rate of 1 person per household, will be provided a one-time grant of Rs 5,000 for improving production and productivity. This amount will be provided to groups, and the utilization will be supervised through a network of NGOs and facilitators. With this support, farmers and producers, be it the turmeric growers of Lasken, the ginger growers of Karkuta, the pig fatteners of Mongap, or the Aries silk weavers of Umden, will have the money to manage their immediate production challenges. In the second stage of the program, which is more entrepreneurship focused, better performing producer groups will be further collectivized into farmer-producer organizations and cooperatives. The FPOs will be provided zero interest loans for taking up higher level value chain activities like collective marketing, processing, and export. Through the last year, we ran pilot projects across the state to finalize this program. We have already formed over 2,100 groups comprising 31,000 producers across various products such as piggery, fruits, and spices. The first tranche of the Chief Minister's mobilization support for these groups has been released. The program will be scaled to over about 2 lakh producer households in the next financial year. Funds for this ambitious program are being provided through convergence from externally aided projects, central sector schemes, and state-owned resources. For the year 2021-22, I am budgeting an amount of 100 crores for this program. Flow of agriculture credit is essential for improving rural incomes. This financial year, we launched a 2% interest subvention program for KCC borrowers in the state. This is over and above the 3% interest subvention given by the Government of India, thus bringing down the effective interest rates of KCC to 2%. An amount of 4 crores is being spent on this program. Continuing with the theme of zero interest loan, I now propose to subvent the full interest of KCC loans being paid by our farmers. For the next financial year, a corpus fund of 10 crores will be set up to provide interest subvention to the standard or regular KCC borrowers of the state. Marketing of agriculture produce is another key intervention for the primary sector. This year, we are constructing 15 lay-by markets at different strategic locations of the state at a project cost of 12 crores. 3 lay-by markets at Umrangskai, Ribhoi, Jangpaso East Khasi Hills, and Lanong West Jente Hills are already inaugurated. Farmers-owned and farmer-managed agriculture markets are also being constructed across the state. 20 such markets are approved for this year. I am budgeting 10 crores for the construction of additional markets in 2021-22. Alongside marketing infrastructure, production and research infrastructure is also essential. Accordingly, a Center of Excellence for citrus fruits at Dawagri, East Garo Hills, is being set up in collaboration with the Embassy of Israel. A second center of excellence is being set up with the state resources at Jongsha in East Khasi Hills. I am allotting 10 crores for this project in 2021-22. The government will continue to implement the mission mode projects for Lakadong turmeric, mushroom, jackfruit, and aromatic plants. Under the Lakadong mission, we are trying to enhance the production of raisins from 12 metric tons to 50 metric tons. Under the Aroma mission, we will be covering 360 acres by the end of 2021. For the implementation of these 4 missions, I am allocating 20 crores for the next financial year. Sir, India's largest piggery development project, the Meghalaya Piggery Mission, with a total outlay of 209 crores, has been operationalized. Under the mission, long-term zero-interest loans are being provided to cooperative societies. The mission targets to increase the income of about 25,000 households in the state. The first tranche of zero-interest loans of 17 crores has already been sanctioned to 95 cooperative societies. We will spend another 100 crores on the piggery mission in the next financial year. Similarly, the milk mission has also been operationalized. New cooperative societies are being formed in the dairy sector, and a complete plan for implementation of the milk mission is in place. We will spend 50 crores on the milk mission in the next financial year. Sir, apart from the piggery and dairy sector, the third sector that has immense potential for livelihood generation and raising the overall nutrition of our citizens is the poultry. Consequently, with support from the National Cooperative Development Corporation, the poultry mission will be launched during the next financial year at a project cost of 121 crores. The government has also identified fisheries as one of the key sectors. I am happy to inform this August House that the implementation of the Meghalaya State Aquaculture Mission has benefited 33,519 fish farmers through various income generation activities. Fish production has increased from 4,558 metric tons in 2010-11 to 14,128 metric tons in 2020-21. I am allocating an amount of 10 crores for taking continuing interventions under the Meghalaya State Aquaculture Mission. Sericulture and weaving are the important traditional cottage industries that provide gainful employment, especially to women in rural areas. To upscale the activities in this sector, the government has created the Rindia brand to popularize Eri silk. The government also wants to support and expand the Muga silk sector and to promote the development of the Muga value chain. I am allocating 10 crores for implementation of the Muga mission. I am allocating 559 crores for the agriculture and allied sectors, including 247 crores from the state's resources in 2021-22. Infrastructural development. Infrastructure is the backbone for the development of the state. To upgrade and improve the existing roads across the state, projects covering a length of about 337 kilometers at an estimated cost at an amount of 742 crores have been taken up for construction under the Meghalaya Integrated Transport Project funded by the World Bank. I am proposing to allocate 110 crores in 2021-22 for this project. In addition, we have sanctioned 580 crores during 2020-21 to strengthen and upgrade our state roads. Some of these projects include the Rongram Pulbari Road and the Mairang Ranigodown Azra Road that are being built at an estimated cost of 139 and 196 crores respectively. I am allocating 385 crores for funding these key projects in 2021-22. Sir, last year in my budget speech, we launched a new program for periodic maintenance of roads and made an allocation of 50 crores. Under this program, some very important roads like the Umtangar Sora Road at an estimated cost of 12 crores, Agya Medipara Pulbari Tura Road at 8 crores, and the Mauplang Balat Road at 6 crores has been taken up for systematic maintenance. This important scheme will continue in 2021-22, and I am allocating 50 crores for the same. I am proposing an overall development budget of 1,080 crores for the road and bridge sector in 2021-22. This government is committed to provide safe drinking water to every rural household through functional household tap connections. While the national target for completion of 100% household tap connections in the year 2024, my government has an ambitious vision to reach this target by the end of 2022. Accordingly, the entire machinery is mobilized to achieve this. I am allocating 540 crores in the next financial year for the implementation of the Jal Jeevan mission. Out of this, 42 crores is from the state's resources. Major water supply schemes are being implemented across the state. The government is making every effort to complete these important projects. Towards this end, I am earmarking 10 crores for the Greater Sora Water Supply Scheme, 25 crores for the Nongstoin Water Supply Scheme, 25 crores for the Greater Shillong Water Supply Scheme, and 20 crores for the Greater Bakmara Water Supply Scheme. I am more than doubling the allocation of the water supply sector to 802 crores for 2021-22. The government has taken a systematic view to reform the entire power sector, with particular focus on distribution. The state government stood guarantee for a loan of 1,346 crores provided to the Meghalaya Power Development Distribution Corporation Limited to liquidate the various accumulated liabilities. It is pertinent to note that these liabilities have accumulated over the last decade, and only this government took the bold decision to deal with this legacy issue head-on. Further, under the Meghalaya Power Distribution Sector Improvement Project, an amount of 980 crores is being invested for the installation of smart meters and for strengthening the power distribution network. I am allocating an amount of 50 crores for the implementation of this project next year. On the generation side, the government is keen to get the 22.5 megawatt Ganol small hydropower project operational. This will be the first generation project in the Garo Hills. An investment of 50 crores from state resources has been made this year. I expect the project to be completed by September 2022. Other critical infrastructure projects include construction of a helipad at New Shillong Township and establishing the Institute of Driving and Traffic Research, for which I am allocating 20 crores each in 21-22. I am also allocating 50 crores each for the development of Tura and Jawai Smart Town. Further, an amount of 9 crores has been earmarked for the completion of the technology park at Umsauli, New Shillong. I am proposing an overall development budget of 2,461 crores for the infrastructure sector, including 893 crores from the state's resources. Empowering the youth, skill development and sports. Sir, about 35% of the state's population is in the age group of 15 to 35 years. This large section of young people need to be inspired and empowered to realize their full potential as individuals and members of their communities. The government has formulated a comprehensive youth policy and has already placed it in the public domain. This policy will be notified soon and implemented from the next financial year. Several interventions are proposed under the policy, including the setting up of youth helpline, a youth portal, and institutionalizing scholarships and awards in various fields. The biggest intervention that is proposed under the youth policy is a comprehensive program for skilling called One Meghalaya, under which every youth of the state will be supported to take up one skill and one talent. The skill and talent providers will also be from within the state, leading to entrepreneurship and employment. The program will cover about 50,000 youth in 2021-22, and I have allocated 30 crores for this program. I would also like to take this opportunity to declare the year 2021-22 as the year of the youth. I am allocating an additional 10 crores for taking up various youth-related activities. Another important facet of youth development and engagement is promotion of sports. This year has a three-pronged approach towards sports development, focusing on infrastructure creation, talent identification, and nurturing and incentivization of athletes. Mega sports infrastructure projects costing 300 crores at Tura, Shillong, and Waejer are at different stages of implementation. I am allocating 120 crores for these projects for the next financial year. Other than these major projects, we are also undertaking about 100 sports infrastructure projects in rural areas at a cost of 70 crores. Many of these projects have already been tendered, and I am allocating 50 crores for the next financial year for these projects. In addition to infrastructure creation, we want to incentivize athletes as provided for in the sports policy. 264 athletes from various sporting disciplines like archery, football, Muay Thai, Jeet Kune Do, Karate Do, and badminton have been identified for providing incentives in 2021-22. I am allocating 200 crores for sports and youth affairs for the next financial year. Tourism, art and culture. Sir, it goes without saying that the tourism and hospitality sector have been affected the most because of the COVID pandemic. Some relief measures have been implemented for the hotel industry at a cost of 20 crores. The current disruption in the sector also presents an opportunity for us to align our approach towards tourism, to realign our approach towards tourism. We are working on creating niche products that can attract high-value tourism with minimal ecological footprints. Under the externally aided experiential eco-tourism project, we will create about 500 high-value rooms in the next 2 years, in addition to building other enabling infrastructures. I am allocating 62 crores for the implementation of this project in 2021-22. Mega tourism infrastructure projects like the tourism complex at Sakala Duma, Nokrek, West Karo Hills have already been initiated. The process for setting up of the Shillong Peak Ropeway is underway, and I am allocating 30 crores for this project for 2021-22. A new scheme for construction of homestays, restaurants, cafes, and other related infrastructure will be implemented in convergence with the Prime Minister's Employment Generation Program. Under the scheme, each entrepreneur will be provided a subsidy of 70% towards projects costing up to 20 lakhs. 35% subsidy will be provided by PMEGP, and the other 35% will be provided by the state government. We are planning to build around 200 homestays and other related infrastructure under this scheme next year. I am allocating 5 crores for this scheme. In addition to the infrastructure, we are focusing on niche tourism products around art, craft and music. We have already begun with the Atelier program, wherein the local craft entrepreneurs are identified and provided 5 lakhs of grant support. Continuing with this, we are formulating a systematic program for engaging and supporting the musicians and the music industry. Consultations with the music stakeholders have already begun, and I'm allocating 5 crores towards this initiative. Another new initiative for the next financial year will be the beautification of our towns and giving them a facelift through art. A program for conducting competition between the various localities and selection of the cleanest and most vibrant locality will be launched. Cash prizes will be provided for the winning neighborhoods and localities. For this initiative, I am allocating 5 crores. In addition to the initiatives being taken up by the state government, we are also successfully implementing the Government of India's flagship programs of Swadesh Darshan and Prasad. An amount of 114 crores will be spent for tourism infrastructure creation under both these programs. For the tourism sector, I am allocating 100 crores for 2021-22. Promotion of art and culture and tourism are interlinked. The iconic Shillong International Center for Performing Arts and Culture is close to completion. This center will set new benchmark as a platform for performing arts and will allow the state to host national and international events. I am allocating an amount of 27 crores for the completion of this project in the next financial year. The construction work on the Tribal Research Center at Babadam, West Garo Hills has begun. When completed in September 2022, this project will be a center for research and promotion of the culture and crafts of all tribes of the Northeast region. All these mega infrastructure projects can be utilized to the fullest potential only when national and international visitors can easily access the state. Hence, the fundamental need for direct air connectivity with major Indian cities. The consistent efforts of my government led to the operationalization of the direct flight from Shillong to Delhi in December 2022. Beginning April 2021, we will increase the frequency of this flight to twice a week. I am certain that this would give a huge boost to tourism in the state. I am allocating 5 crores for provision of viability gap funding for this project. As we move towards 50th anniversary of the statehood, a number of programs will be held to celebrate the state and its people. These programs will be implemented by the different departments, and a high-level committee under my chairmanship has been set up to coordinate all the efforts. We will have literature, art and cultural festivals, sporting events, school and college level competitions involving children, and the youth and celebratory campaigns on our history and heritage. The task force for the documentation of 50 years of Meghalaya under the chairmanship of Professor David Semle has already started work. I am allocating 20 crores towards organizing all the events related to the 50th anniversary of our statehood. Promoting entrepreneurship. So my government has identified entrepreneurship as one of the 6 core pillars of the developmental paradigm for the state. Accordingly, substantial efforts have been made over the last few years towards building an entrepreneurial ecosystem in the state. Under the umbrella of the PRIME program, the Chief Minister's E-Championship 2 has already been launched. Additionally, to provide continued and systematic mentorship support to the entrepreneurs, 3 PRIME hubs are already operational in Shillong, Tura and Songsa. We plan to construct 15 more PRIME hubs in the next financial year and a total of 50 hubs by the end of 2022. I am budgeting 20 crores for this initiative. This year, we created the PRIME Fund with a corpus of 25 crores under which startup grants and scale-up loans are being provided to entrepreneurs. The first tranche of the grants and the zero-interest loans of 1.2 crores has already been dispersed to 13 entrepreneurs. This program will be broad-based and more applications shall be invited over the next few months. The 25 crore corpus fund will be used to leverage additional funds from other financial institutions and investors. I expect the PRIME fund to grow to 125 crores over the next 2 years. Another crucial enabler for a vibrant entrepreneurial ecosystem is access to timely, adequate and affordable credit. Currently, several of the state's villages are unbanked. We are taking steps to ensure that in 2021-22, we will be able to cover 90% of our villages under the banking services. For this, we have launched a comprehensive program that involves reaching out to the unbanked villages via banking correspondence. Recently, a project was launched in partnership with the Meghalaya Rural Bank, wherein micro ATMs were distributed to 100 SHGs members to take banking services to the last mile. Additionally, 500 more banking correspondents shall be deployed in 2020-21. I am allocating 10 crores for the next financial year for improving the banking coverage. Rural poverty alleviation. We continue to dedicate our attention to the issue of rural poverty alleviation in the state. So my government has made significant progress in its attempt to develop social capital through institutions such as self-help groups, cooperative societies, producer groups, and other collectives of women and farmers. We have also provided 50% reservation to women in leadership positions of the village employment councils a major transformation of grassroots governance. Our state continues to be a leader in the implementation of the MGNREGS. While we spent 965 crores on this scheme in the year 2019-20, we expect to touch 16,000 crores this year. This spending translates to an annual income of 17,000 rupees per rural household in the state. The works undertaken under MGNREGS have helped the rural populace immensely in coping with economic disruption caused by COVID-19. So the state government has promoted over 29,000 self-help groups so far, out of which 21,600 have come into existence during the last 3 years. Out of the 132 crores that have been released to these self-help groups so far, 124 crores have been released during the tenure of this government. Till 2018, only 319 self-help groups had received a bank loan. Today, that number stands at 6,288 self-help groups. These women SHGs are becoming the beacons of hope and change in their communities, fulfilling important development roles in both social and financial sector. With a view of providing Pakka houses for all rural households, we are targeting the construction of about 47,000 houses at an estimated cost of 611 crores under Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana Gramin. For 2021-22, I am proposing an allocation of 120 crores for PMAYG. For rural poverty alleviation, I am proposing a total allotment of 1,138 crores for 2021-22. Social sector, social security and welfare. So social security is the foundation of economic security for the people. It is a key aspect of human development. I made a commitment in the last budget speech to make regular monthly payments to all casual employees of the government. I am happy that the Ashas, Anganwadi workers, muster rolls and casual employees are now being paid their emoluments on the first week of every month. The ongoing Chief Minister's Social Assistance Scheme for providing financial assistance to 1.1 lakh beneficiaries at the rate of 500 per month will continue to be implemented. Sir, I am also pleased to announce that the minimum wages have been revised to 343, 389, 435 and 480 per day for unskilled, semi-skilled, skilled and highly skilled categories of workers, respectively from October 1st, 2020. Under the National Urban Livelihood Mission, the construction of shelter for urban homeless has been completed for Shillong, Jowai, Tura and Williamnagar. The Meghalaya Drug Abuse Prevention Policy 2020 was recently notified. This will enable us to combat drug abuse and to ensure coordinated efforts among the various stakeholders. Sir, I am happy to inform that the automation process for all fair price shops in the state has been completed. Further, to ensure complete transparency in PDS transactions among beneficiaries and fair price shops, we have introduced the electronic point of sale system across the state. This is an important step towards ensuring food security for all. Focusing on sustainability at all levels. Meghalaya lies in an ecologically vulnerable zone, and building sustainable, climate-resilient livelihood is essential for the overall development of the state. We are implementing several sustainability-focused programs and projects. These include the ongoing IFAD-funded Mega Lamp project, the World Bank-funded CLLMP project, and the JICA-funded project for community-based forest management and livelihood improvement. For the implementation of all these externally aided projects focusing on environment and sustainability, I have budgeted 217 crores. In addition to the externally aided projects, green funds such as Meghalaya Environment Protection and Restoration Fund amounting to 445 crores, the Campa Fund amounting to 163 crores, and the Meghalaya Minor Mineral Reclamation Fund amounting to 90 crores will be used for restoration and improvement of environment in a comprehensive manner. Another threat to sustainability is the unscientific coal mining that has been traditionally practiced in the state. I am happy I am very happy to inform this August House that the central government has approved the SOP prepared by the state for granting prospecting license and mining license. This is the first significant step for beginning scientific coal mining in the state. Another new initiative to promote water conservation on a large scale is the building of small multi-purpose reservoirs. These reservoirs will be constructed at strategic locations, leveraging on the hilly topography of the state. The stored rainwater will be utilized for multiple purposes, including drinking, irrigation, fisheries, and tourism development. I am allocating 10 crores for construction of SMRs. A project for eco-restoration of Sora area is also being conceptualized. I have allocated 25 crores for the same. Under this project, we will take up dense plantation using the Miyawaki method, plantations of fuel wood and aromatic grasses and other soil and water conservation works. District councils. The three autonomous district councils are important institutions delivering important public services at the grassroots. I am pleased to announce that because of the government's persistent effort, the 15th Finance Commission has allocated a grant of 711 crores for the autonomous district councils for the period 2021-26. Improving governance. To enhance overall delivery of services at the grassroots level, we have enacted the Meghalaya Rights to Public Services Act 2020. The Act prescribes timelines for delivery of various public services and has a framework for penalizing officers in case of delay. 81 services have already been notified. In the last year, we have also put in place a coherent framework for monitoring the implementation of various programs and projects. Meghalaya CM Dashboard is an integrated GIS platform with close to real-time data on the various key programs of the government. The public interface for this dashboard is also being developed so that both the administration and the citizens can view program information till the village level on their screens. This sharing of information will bring in great transparency. Another important initiative in governance in the Meghalaya Enterprise Architecture project, under which the functioning of the planning and the finance department is being completely revamped. All processing of project proposals, submission of bills, and release of funds will be done electronically from the next financial year. We are computerizing all the 1,200 plus drawing and dispersing offices of the state. This reform will transform the overall efficiency of the government. I am budgeting 10 crores for this project. We are also taking a step to improve our ranking in the areas of ease of doing business. This year, we successfully completed the reforms relating to the District Business Reform Action Plan, auto renewals and central inspection systems. And next year, the reforms related to the State Business Reform Action Plan will be completed. I would like to highlight that this is the first time that a systematic effort is being made to improve the ease of doing business in the state. Having a strong administrative machinery at the grassroots is essential for improving governance. I am therefore allocating 15 crores for construction of block complexes in the new blocks. Additionally, there is a dire need for the improvement of police infrastructure, including upgradation of police stations, residential quarters, and battalion complexes. These urgent requirements of the police forces have not been prioritized in the past. I am now allocating an amount of 80 crores for strengthening police infrastructure for the next financial year. Budget estimates 2021-22. Sir, for 2021-22, I have estimated the total receipts at 17,509 crores, of which the revenue receipts are estimated at 15,232 crores and capital receipts at 2,277 crores. Excluding borrowings of 2,247 crores, the total receipts are estimated to be 15,262 crores. On the expenditure side, I have estimated the total expenditure at 17,603 crores, of which the revenue expenditure is estimated at 13,956 crore and capital expenditure at 3,647 crores. Excluding repayment of loans of 771 crores, the estimated total expenditure is 16,832 crores. Interest payments for 2021-22 is estimated at 1,047 crores and pension payments at 1,303 crores. I am therefore presenting the budget of 2021-22 with a fiscal deficit of 1,570 crores, which is around 4.07% of the GSDP. Conclusion. When the MDA government came to power in March 2018, we made a promise to transform the state and to deal with several of the challenges facing the state, including inadequate infrastructure, poor governance, and several legacy issues. After 3 years of our government, we are witnessing visible changes because of interventions made in important sectors of road, water supply, health, and education infrastructure, programs for farmers' welfare, and support to entrepreneurs. This government has also been able to galvanize the entire administrative machinery and the society to work in a collaborative manner. I feel very privileged to have been part of this extraordinary journey. I want to reaffirm the commitment of this government to continue with the same momentum in the next year as we move towards the 50th anniversary of statehood. I want to conclude by thanking every citizen of the state, including our women, farmers, youth, artists, entrepreneurs, grassroots development workers, and children. Mr. Speaker, sir, with these few words, I commend the budget to this august House. Kublai, Mathela, and Jai Hind.